Exactly 1 year ago, I had the goal to get a 4.0 for the term. I worked extremely hard, I obsessed over it, and I was really anxious. But in the end, I got a 3.0. Fast forward 1 year later, I was able to achieve that goal fortunately. Here are 5 ways that I was able to do it. The first one was to have a really strong why. It's really good to have a goal, but it's also important to know why you're achieving it. The reason why I didn't really achieve that goal was because I didn't really care about the why. I was only getting a 4.0 because my parents pressured me into it. It wasn't what I really wanted. So every time I kept reminding myself to get that 4.0, it's like my brain saying, Arlo, you're coping, this is not what you want. And so there were times where I would self-sabotage. When I say self-sabotage, it means that our subconscious mind is keeping us from achieving the things that we want to do. So for example, I really wanted to study, but then my subconscious would make me do something else. And it was like I was fighting an uphill battle. Even though it felt like I was studying hard all the time, I wasn't really doing that. Once I changed my why to make sure that my parents don't worry about me anymore, to pursue business and actually reveal to my parents that I was trying to make money online. So it was a reason that was important to me, and it was more of a reason that I cared about. So because of that, I was able to get into flow more. I was able to focus more, and I was able to enjoy the process a whole lot more instead of forcing myself to follow a reason that I didn't really care about. So for you, instead of trying to follow the reasons that you've been forced to follow, why not try to sit down and think, why do you really want to achieve this goal? And actually be honest with yourself. If it's to get girls, then be honest with yourself. If it's to feel good about yourself, then yeah, go ahead. If it's to feel validated, it's perfectly fine. As long as you're honest with why you're doing it and be transparent with yourself, you're more likely to stick to the goal. The second way is to focus on improving from past mistakes. Now, a really big mistake that I did was I just obsessed over the end result, which is the 4.0. So I kept reminding myself, because that's what everyone says, right? You should obsess over the goal, recite it in your head, visualize and getting the end result. But that didn't really work because I wasn't really doing anything to make progress towards that result. I was just focused on the future that doesn't exist and not trying to refine my process. So the term after I failed to get that 4.0, what I did was, okay, what did I do in the past that I made mistakes in? Oh, okay, I didn't get enough sleep. Probably that's why I wasn't able to focus. What else? So every single day or every week, I'd reflect what could be done better. If I got a bad result at a quiz, I would ask myself, okay, what could I have done better? What was the mistakes that I did? Which topics were I terrible at? It's really loud playing. Playing. Be quiet, please. Recording a video. So what I mean is, instead of focusing on the end result, focus on the past and what you can improve from the past. And if you're like me and you prefer organizing everything, I highly recommend journaling down every single night what you've accomplished and what you can do better. The third step is to work well with others, not just with group work, which is very important by the way, but also when it comes to studying and preparing for tests. I used to think that if other people aren't as hardworking as I am, I should just isolate myself, and that wasn't effective because one, I felt lonely and I didn't have good mental health, which made it harder for me to study. But second, it was even harder because just by talking to people who are either in my batch or above me, I was able to learn how to handle a specific prof. I was able to know what topics might come out on a particular exam. So all of these things that I could have learned beforehand that prepared me to get better grades, I could have learned if I just talk to people more and humble myself instead of thinking that, oh, I just need to study hard and just isolate myself, and it didn't work. Okay, the fourth thing is to be an essentialist. So basically an essentialist focuses on the vital few instead of the trivial many. I used to be an officer at 2 different orgs, study every single subject very equally, and try to do all these kinds of things. And then I realized that if I say yes to something, that's saying no to something else. So what I did was I just focused on what are really important to me. So that meant the most difficult subject, which is accounting. I also focused on spending time with friends because that's healthy. And I said no to a lot of things. So I quit my orgs. I didn't study hard on other subjects. I just used ChatGPT for the very easy subjects, and just try to free up so much time as possible so that I could allocate that to the vital few. And as a result, I got better grades and better mental health. So ask yourself, what are the things that aren't actually important to you, and can you remove that? If yes, do it, because you will have more time and mental capacity to focus on what really matters to you. And lastly, it's cliche, but it's important, okay? It's to enjoy the journey. back then I was super obsessed over the result, and I was really mentally unhealthy. Sometimes maybe I'd call myself like semi-depressed at that time because I was obsessed over a result I didn't care about, but then I forced myself to care about it, and I wasn't even enjoying the process of it. And at the end, when I got my result, I've talked to my friend and I asked like, was this even worth it? Was all this suffering worth it? In my head, the instant answer was like, no. So like, okay, I asked myself, how can I make this worth it? So let me just have fun. Let me let go of any excess effort or energy and just let things happen. But not to say that like not do anything or not study, but then it's like let nature takes its course and just act like a human being. When I focused on enjoying the journey, I actually had more energy to study. And one thing I did was I studied with other people and I tried teaching people, and that was something I naturally enjoyed. So try to find ways to enjoy every second of the journey. The plane is back. Oh no, I hope they're enjoying their journey, if you know what I mean. But back to the topic, find ways to enjoy every second of the journey as much as possible. Because when you do that, you'll like waking up every single day and studying or doing whatever you need to do. I'll end this with a quote by Naval Ravikant. It says, "No one can beat you when you're having fun." Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you tomorrow.